Gen Z women and men, and it's crazy. So like the separation from us is leading to like this dehumanization of each other, because like if you don't talk to people of color, if you don't talk to somebody who's trans, then you're just gonna like your vision of them is going to be a stereotype, or what's told to you on social media. It's going to be like the worst interpretation of humanity, and that's all we're getting through social media. So finding some way to detangle social media from our politics, if that's even possible at this point, is going to be the struggle. But at the same time, it's a balance, because whenever I say that, I worry that like liberals take it as, oh, that means we have to censor on social media, and that's not what I'm trying to put out there. So it's really hard to address a problem without it being pounced on by nefarious actors. So I can't answer your question because I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But I will say that if it doesn't necessarily repeat, but it rhymes, after fascism, that comes the economic boom and the New Deal. Maybe we'll get another one when this is all said and done. I have no idea, though. I'm crossing my fingers because I honestly am so lost at this point in terms of like what to even expect anymore, because my expectations have been shattered by the last 10 years.
All right, Ken, give us hope, because you are definitely like the more experienced, knowledgeable person here in terms of you've seen more.
I'm
like
older.
what is the? No, I didn't say that.
I am.
Okay, you're older.
Older. I didn't say I'm old. I'm older.
You're old.
I'm not old.
No. Okay. So what like have you seen anything like this? Like what? I mean, where are we going?
I mean, I'm not going to be the optimist here. That's why I think that doing things locally is so important. I saw who was it? Sabby Sabs had a guest on, and he was a guy just doing stuff in his neighborhood. And I'm like, you know what? I'd like to see a whole lot more of that on podcasts, like maybe 1 out of 5. Just some bread and butter. I'm out there working in the community, helping people, because we need to set models for that. So that's really important. I'm concerned because, and Peter probably is on this too. We're heading off an economic cliff of epic proportion. Something like 50% of all our investment is in AI.
It's a bubble.
What's terrible is that like we've put it all on red. Like our economy has bet everything on AI, and it's not going to pay out. I'll tell you that right now. So all that money is going to go up in smoke, which will not hurt the billionaire class. They'll just shift a few assets around, but it's going to massacre working people. So I'm really worried about that. And these things are often preludes to big wars, and I'm not, and I don't want to go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Yeah, and I'm not equating Charlie Kirk with Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy or anything, but he was a political force, and he was a political force who seemed to be turning against war to a degree. I don't know how much it was. He's gone, right? Dead. It seems that every time a political force that's against war dies, we're either on our way to a big war, or we're, for instance, Kennedy died and Vietnam got ramped up. Martin Luther King and RFK got killed the same year, which happened to be the same year of the absolute peak of the Vietnam War. I would even say John Lennon. I don't believe that crazy guy, John Chapman, whatever his name was, killed him.
Mark David Chapman.
And he was there. And what happened? Well, Grenada, Panama, Iraq won. So the killing of Charlie Kirk may be the part of the clearing of the decks for a big war, because they have to shut people up. And he could have been a problem to their war effort.
I want to leave you guys with a thought before you go. You bring up a good point, and I would definitely say I've seen enough of Charlie Kirk to know that he thought it was more about him than it really was. He was just a figurehead that got popped up by the billionaire class, starting with the Koch brothers and then leading. It is John Lennon's birthday today. What I think ended up happening, and I say this to you, Mike, is I think ever so slightly, Charlie was having an attack of conscience. And then the people who got him to where he was, that allowed him to put on these. And I went to one of his events in Tampa Bay, these spectacular displays of Turning Point USA that cost millions of dollars to set these up at the convention centers and have all these big guests come in. That's not free. That costs a lot of money. And you want to run that operation, you want to go and speak to thousands of people at campuses, all those things cost money. And you want to start biting the hand that feeds you. It's one thing if you've never taken the Zionist money before. It's another thing if you've been taking it for years and you all of a sudden decide, yeah, I'm not listening to you anymore. Oh, really? You're not going to listen to us anymore? Okay, now watch. And sure enough, what we're living in right now is a situation where even a channel like ours, and I know you'll find this hard to believe, Mike, but Charlie did a clip just before he passed where he included like 5 or 6 different content creators. He put on Cenk and TYT, put on, I want to say the Midas guys, and a couple of other people. And then he put me. And I'm thinking, of all the people you're going to put, you put me on with these multi-million platform people. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe you had respect for what we had to say. And I bring this up because we had a viral clip that just went out the other day about a Zionist synagogue in New York City that basically is preaching human sacrifice in order for the state of Israel to survive. They decided to call the police on us.
Oh,
and they had to show up at Jen's door. They showed up at my door at 11:30 at night. At the beginning, when was it? Whatever, it was like 4 or 5 nights ago. And I thought about it and I realized whatever we're doing it right, because we're scaring the shit out of the very people who are trying to stop us from doing what they want them to do. And I looked right into the camera and I said point blank, and I'll say it again, I am not suicidal. You can go fuck yourself. And I am not going to stop what I'm doing. You are going to have to kill me to make me stop, because I cannot look at these children being massacred every goddamn day. I cannot look at this country that is dying a slow death because of the people who run it, who do not answer to the people. That's what a real dictatorship looks like. You could call it fascism, you call it whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, we are being run by lunatics who do not care about the people that are living in this country. And they are daring us to do something. I hope we collectively work together. But I can assure you that if we make this a class war and nothing more, we will find our way out of it. That's the only way it's going to happen. And as long as you guys are doing your thing and we're doing our thing and we're collaborating where and when we can, I have some degree of optimism, however small it may be. But I don't. Thanks,
I
Jen.
think we're all just going to hell. I actually am a big proponent in building small, sustainable, regenerative communities. I think we need to go back to where we came from in terms of living smaller and living less. And I think that is so the antithesis of capitalism in this country.
Mhm.
And that's why we're in the mess that we're in.
Yeah.
Well, that's choice. Final thoughts before we depart for the evening and bring in our next panel.
Just happy 5th anniversary. I love the show. You're fun. You're courageous. What's a better combination?
Thank you so much. And guys, read Ken's book. Hold it up again, because this is the one when we had you on recently to talk about, Peters, he has his. It's JFK's and RFK's secret battle against Zion.
Yeah, there we go. And
I'm telling you, get this book. It's really, really good.
Jen introduced me to Katie Halper. And I did a show with her, and one of the clips was Kennedy receiving the newly elected president of Algeria after they defeated the French. Biggest reception ever at the White House. I've never seen a bigger one. And that clip has had we're closing in on 1 million views.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I get fan mail from people in Algeria who are just amazed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, and that's what it's about,
Yeah. Well, I'm all about cross-pollinating. And Mike, you were one of my OGs for sure. Like, you had me on, like, nobody else was talking to me. Nobody else wanted to talk to me, but you were wanting to talk to me. And I appreciated that so much.
Right on.
Of course.
And you got 50,000 subscribers now. And
Yeah,
Mike,
incredible.
you can confirm this. The first 50,000 are the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean,
1,000%.
it's going to go nicely.
Mhm.
Well,
You have
I
a lot
don't
to
want
look forward to.
Well, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, and I appreciate you saying 50,000, but right now we are closing in on 75,000 subscribers. So we're
Wow, you're
we're
almost at
climbing.
that button.
Okay.
Nice.
We're climbing. We're climbing.
It's
We're not
thanks to
going to
people like you. It's thanks to people like you that got us here, and
Absolutely.
both of you really, and I appreciate it. And that's why I wanted to invite all the people that helped us get where we are.
Are you going to have a cake or something?
Well, Peter won't eat
Candles on
cake,
it?
so he'll ruin all fun food things because Peter won't eat cake. But
Well,
no,
Jen's in
we
South
have
Florida. Yeah, Jen's in South
we have
Florida.
a
I'm in
big
the
announcement. We're
Panhandle,
making
so
a big
it's
announcement.
Wow.
yeah. If you guys do stick around after we depart in about a half hour or so, we've got a very big announcement we're making. So you might want to at least.
Mike has to go do
look up.
Leftist Mafia. He
I'm
has
gonna
to
have
go
to
do
catch
Left-
the VOD. Yeah, but I'm excited to see the announcement. I'm always checking what you guys are doing. Always support it. Always love what you guys are putting out there. Really, really happy that you guys have just blown up lately. It's nice to finally be validated for the effort you've put in for so long. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for you all. Keep it up.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
that.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Bye.
So good to see you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Great crowd. Great crowd. Really great.
Great crowd.
Really great people. Really having a really great time. Well,
Yeah.
talk about an OG, somebody who's been with us for a long time, and then a new OG, because I know he will be an OG as we go forward. 'cause,
Yes, but this is interesting. So for people who are new, one thing is we have a very big cross appeal, right? We've got a lot of different political opinions in our chat. We range from very left to right, libertarian. We have a lot of different people, and the next person we're bringing on is a testament that we can just all get along. We can get along and have like really
Let's
good
get along.
conversations, even though we don't agree on everything. And also, it's just somebody who's always been incredibly supportive from like the very first days of our show. And now, wait, he has changed the name of his show again. So I'm pretty sure it's Red Index or Index. Bring him on. Bring on
And,
Osiris.
for somebody that, as somebody who does not care for Nick Fuentes, here is somebody who does care for Nick Fuentes.
That's
Osiris,
okay.
get in here.
Whoa. Whoa. What's up? Long time, Jen. Peter, it's always
Hi.
been too long. How you doing? What a great intro. Thank you so much. I still remember the first time we talked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So hard. You've been on, like, I feel like you've been on a handful of times at this point, like
Oh,
at
yeah.
least. But you are one of, like, you prove that we can cross pollinate across the spectrum, and we can agree on the things that matter the most in a lot of cases. And I think that's really important. And plus, I love that you represent a whole, like, a different ideology than would necessarily be assigned to you based on physical appearance, and that you are not a monolith, and that you are a very independent thinker. And I really respect that about you.
Well-
But tell me the name of your new show, because it's like Index Red.
Yeah, it's been like 3 name changes. It's all good. Index Red. Yes, I did change it again. I was middle MAGA. And as you know, the political right has fractured. I am anti-MAGA at this point.
Listen, you don't know what you're talking about. Have you not seen? We're so hot. We're so hot right now. We're totally on fire. But I don't want to leave you hanging. You're actually in for a real treat tonight. You're getting, you're not just getting any guest. You're getting somebody who we don't just consider a friend, but somebody who's actually a real hero.
A hero.
Yeah, a hero. Somebody who's actually put his life on the line and is now doing it on the steps of the Capitol, but decided to step away from it for at least a few minutes to come join us. And of course, he is now becoming a regular, amazingly, on our channel. Anthony Aguilar, welcome back to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Hi, it's great
What's
seeing
up?
y'all.
It's so good to see you. You know, I saw you getting harassed in front of the Capitol for a change, and having to have an argument with these people as to where is the actual public sidewalk. And, oh, well, we have to keep walking, but yet we can't walk. So what are we supposed to do? Like,
Well,
it's off the wall.
Well, why don't we play it so that everybody has an idea of what
I
this?
haven't seen it yet. I don't remember
Oh,
what
okay.
but
Well,
I
well,
do
okay,
remember that
Osiris,
the discussion was absolutely ridiculous.
it was absurd. Osiris, do you know, have you, I'm sure, I don't think you've met, but do you know who Anthony is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so Anthony has been a very brave whistleblower in about what is going on in Gaza as somebody who was over there to help with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which we know is bullshit, but has had a lot to report about that. And of course, they've been trying to silence him for coming forward, somebody with an impeccable record, which is disgusting. But anywho.
Here we go.
Capitol grounds, it says you can have a bullhorn and a speaker. It says that you can. But what?
So where you at right now?
Okay, so then I'll use it on the sidewalk.
Yeah, sir, right where you speak, where you at right now, you're in a red zone, all right? That's all we're trying to advise you.
This is not a red zone.
Yeah, that's a yellow zone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if you stay there, then you're fine. And you can't be walking back and forth.
They said that we had to continue walking.
Yeah, but
The person over there just said that we had to continue walking. Get your straight.
if you walk there and back, then you're traversing, and that's not allowed.
She just said
She just said we have to continue walking.
have it recorded.
Yeah, to and from where you're trying to go. You guys can't just walk on Capitol grounds wherever you
You're not going to
want.
go
Yes,
back
you
and
can.
No, you can't.
Yes, we can.
Not protesting.
I'm not protesting.
Demonstrating, whatever you want to call it. You can't do that.
Now, I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that they spoke to you in a different tone than they would have spoken to just about anybody else. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, they backed off pretty quick, when the entire time I was there, I stayed there at the Capitol for a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and wasn't approached again. They got on their bikes and rode away in their fanny packs and stood by. And I feel for them is that yesterday I ended my day yesterday with a nice little treat. I treated myself to the committee hearing to nominate the new general counsel to the CIA. I thought that would have been a good one. So treated myself to a little Congress theater, and one of the officers that was there, one of the Capitol Police, because there was another demonstration in this hearing where another person was protesting and hauled out. But at the end, Senator Risch, who's on this committee, who was also the chair of the committee that I got arrested on, who walked by and recognized me, said to the cop there, "Hey, boys, really earned that paycheck today." And I said to Senator Risch, I was like, "Well, that's funny because they're not getting paid right now." And Senator Risch was like, "Are y'all not getting paid?" And the Capitol Police officer was like, "No, sir, we're not getting paid right now." And I was like, "You are a tool bag. You are what is wrong with this country."
You're a U.S. senator and you don't know if the Capitol Police are being paid during a shutdown. Again, who do we hire to run this country?
Well, they're getting paid. They're all getting paid.
Entitled, privileged people that do not represent the needs of their people and their constituents. We have allowed people in power to become the nepotistic monarchies that we detest. We've allowed it.
We have one more clip to play. I know you know who this guy is, so let's roll it.
And that you stop lying.
Have him removed immediately.
You will stop and cease the war in Gaza.
We will stop nothing.
Well, leave it to Tom Cotton. Let's highlight that, ladies and gentlemen. We will stop nothing.
I was sitting to that gentleman's right. We were in there together. I was kind of coaching him through the process, where the C-SPAN camera is, how to position yourself. He did a great job. And in sitting next to him there, I kind of thought to myself, never interrupt an idiot when they're in the middle of making themselves look like an idiot. So I just sat there for the rest of the committee hearing and let Tom Cotton talk. And it's just the humor writes itself.
Yeah.
In terms of the most bloodthirsty federally elected representatives that we have, I would imagine that you would find Cotton to be pretty much near the top. Is that fair to say?
Horrible human being. I do not like him as a senator. I do not like him as there's some senators I know that there's just, they just can't get themselves off of that political ledge, but you can see through it. With him, I've seen through it, and he's just a bad person.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I want to, we'll play this through, and I have thoughts as we discussed with our previous panel regarding the split with MAGA, but let's finish this.
We will stop nothing. I want them to stop the genocide in Gaza and proceed to stop lying to the American people, because they've been doing it for too long. They've been funding the genocide, Israel.
All right, need you to stop following. We're taking them down the loading dock.
So, Josie, what just happened?
Well, we just had a retired U.S. Army officer just get arrested inside of the Senate intelligence hearing because the U.S. Senate is complicit in the genocide. They are funding this genocide. While this government is shut down, we have our Senate and our Congress still sending billions of dollars to Israel. There was an interruption by this Army officer to call for an end to the genocide, and that the U.S. is complicit in this genocide.
Osiris, I just want to know, like, from the middle perspective, from the more libertarian perspective, where are you on the shutdown and the political theater of it all?
Well, it is just all theater. It's all games. It's pretty much meaningless, because from the standpoint is they're keeping enough of the government open not to get the public upset at them. So it's just more games. It came out just as we were going to get, I think there are enough votes now to move that measure to, they can't make the executive branch spill the Epstein files, but it looks like they're going to get the vote, 218, I believe. And it's curious how this happened, and they're all doing this WWE performance type of thing. And then you have the influencers dividing it up between a fake right and a fake left. They're all the same. So from my standpoint, it's all a game, and they're playing a big joke on us.
It's not very funny.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if we're not going to wake up, they're going to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I believe that there is a definitive split happening within MAGA right now. I think it's very real. I think that really just comes down to a simple variable. You're either America first or you are Israel first. I think it's pretty crystal clear that that's what's going on. You both at a time or another supported Trump. Obviously, you've seen how that has changed dramatically, to say the least. In fact, I would go so far as to say if Trump was actually running a legitimate America first administration right now, that he would have a hell of a lot more leeway to go into these major cities and basically pull this dictatorial stunt that he's doing, whether in Chicago or any other city. But because of the fact that he has capitulated to such a obvious and public degree when it comes to Milikowski, real name, Netanyahu, and the state of Israel, that he really has lost his, I wouldn't even say it's totally just his swagger, but his ability to command a movement, I think, is cratering in a lot of ways right now. I would even go so far as to say that whatever movement is being led by Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens right now is bigger than whatever movement Trump is leading at this moment. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What you're seeing right now is Donald Trump is basically, I know we're early on, but he's still a lame duck. And MAGA doesn't exist without him. J.D. Vance is not MAGA. He might put on the gear or try to rep the symbol. So what you're seeing is a fight right now. It is Israel, but it's also this, even without, take Israel off the table, you would see a fight anyway to see who's going to be the next person to carry over those voices. So you put Israel on top of that, you just have an explosion right now.
Yeah, I agree with Osiris and exactly what you were saying, and that it's theater, but then also the fact that, yeah, MAGA is nothing without Donald Trump, because J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, they don't have the swagger. And the thing that Trump brought to it is that he had the swagger and he had the street cred of nobody owns me. He's given that up because it's so clear now that he's owned by Milikowski. He is Milikowski's phone-holding bitch boy in the
chair
Oval Office.
Chair pulling out,
Chair pulling out.
For you.
Disgusting. It's, if I had 10 minutes with Donald Trump to sit down with him, I'd be like, dude, pull it together. Like, don't like just pull it together, man. Like you are looking weak, and I think it's funny that, when he was first running, he comes down the golden elevator in Trump Tower, and then the image that will now be burned in everyone's memory in the UN is him going up the elevator and it stops. Like, it's like that's a perfect analogy to how his character arc has gone from where it was to where it is now.
Yeah. Osiris, so where does a lost MAGA man go now? Right? Like, where do you find yourself in this political system now? It's like you seem kind of homeless. I mean, I've been homeless for a long time.
Yeah, it's simple. America First, as led by Nicholas J. Fuentes, is that movement right now is the most authentic, and it is the natural progression of the Donald Trump MAGA. These are people, young, white, Christian males who kind of lead that movement, who were big Trump supporters and still love Trump, even with all the problems, even with all the criticism, still love Trump he woke me up. I'll always be grateful for Trump, no matter how hard I rail against him now. But that's part of the battle. That's why Tucker Carlson, Candace, they're trying to rise up, because a lot of the youth are going to Nick Fuentes. I was listening to Nick Fuentes the other day. He talked straight politics. A lot of people don't even know what his show is. My wife was listening to. He's like, "Who's that? That's a smart young man." I was like, "Okay, I'll talk to you about him later." But that's where a lot of people are going.
I would definitely say that Fuentes, I do not trust him. And you and I obviously have discussed this on and off air. I think he has a lot of things right, but I also think there is a lot of, I don't even know if I would even say malicious. He's pretty transparent about his angles of bigotry. I think it's clear that he's a frustrated young man. And again, there's a reason why Fuentes is blown up. This is a very rudderless ship of a nation right now. There is a lot of scared people. There is a level of economic anxiety that has not been, I mean, you thought it was bad during the pandemic. You thought it was bad 15 years ago. This is unsightly how bad this is now, because people don't even have prospects. They don't even know why the hell they should go to college. They don't know what the hell they're going to do. And Fuentes, to his credit, knows exactly how to speak to that crowd. And especially with Kirk no longer with us, I mean, the lane is wide open and he's going to grab it. I think it's very fair to say that a lot of people are going to go to him. And the problem that we have with populist left politics is that there is a limit to how many voices are actually out there, which is why, as I mentioned before in the last panel, I mentioned to you guys now, Anthony, you may have heard about this, but shortly before Charlie's assassination, he made a compilation clip of about 5 or 6 different content creators. It was about Cenk, it was about Midas Touch, it was about a few different guys, and then the person he ended with was me. Now, I'm thinking to myself, this channel, it's got just over 70,000 subscribers. I mean, I know we're not tiny, but we're not that relevant. And the fact that he felt the need to put me there, I think is also a reflection, not that I'm trying to boost Jen and I's ego, it's a reflection of how few actual leaders there are in left populist spaces that are saying what needs to be said about how we're leading ourselves the fuck out of this problem. That, I think, is a huge part of it. And one of the things I've always been pointed to mention is that when it comes to, it's not just people that are in the military, it's working class across the country. There has been a dynamic shift since 2015, 2016. A substantial portion of that working class coalition that backed Bernie that first time he ran, they went to Trump. And they've basically been with him ever since. And there is a denial in this country that that's what happened. They want to pretend that this is all racism and sexism, and that's the reason why you don't have anything. And yet, when a white, Latino, and black man can come together and talk about this and say, it has nothing to fucking do with that shit, I hope that there are people that are listening. Because if you don't have a pot to piss in, no one gives a fuck about your feelings. Nobody. And they shouldn't. I want to be able to have a future. I want to be able to have a retirement. I want to have an environment that I actually can breathe the air of and drink the water in. Those are just simple things in life. And it seems like those are the things that are being taken for granted. And the fact that right now we are looking at a future where we're still attached at the hip with this genocidal fucking nation and we can't get out of it. I believe we will get out of it, but it's going to take this collaboration across the entire political spectrum, that there is one variable and one variable only. You are either bought and paid for by the system or you're not. And if you are in any way capitulating to that bought system, like these scum-sucking motherfuckers that are taking $7,000 a pop to put posts out there, like Savetsky, claiming that fucking yacht that she was on was the one that Greta Thunberg was on. Again, if that's who you are, to me, you're a traitor of this country. Go fuck yourself, get lost. The rest of us can figure out a way to work together. All right, rant over.
You got me feeling fired up. I'm in Boston tonight. I got on the train early this morning at 3 a.m. and came into Boston. I'm here in the Boston Harbor. I just did a protest in down at the Boston Commons against the Boston Consulting Group. It was great. It was awesome. Cops came trying to shut us down but couldn't. It was awesome. So yeah, you just fired me up more. You know, this is not about our race, our ethnicities, our religion. That is what they want us to believe to divide us. It's not about that. It is those that are bought and paid off, and those of us that still have a soul for this nation and what it should be, not what it's become. And I think our Constitution, in the words of what our country stands for, is a beautiful thing, that we're created equal and that we should pursue happiness. And when you have people in office that, I mean, like Senator Cotton in there, like we will stop nothing. Well, no shit, you're not going to stop nothing. You've shown us that for the last however many years you've been in the Senate. We have a lot of weak leaders right now. What you said, Peter, is right. What the movements on both sides lack is leadership. And I'm, for one, very happy that you and Jen are part of the leadership and recognized by that the reason Charlie pulled you into that to know is that the voice might be small right now, but it's growing. But demonstrated leadership by integrity, and that you're not sold out, that you and Jen aren't sold out, is what America needs right now. Leadership.
I appreciate that, because you, to me, are like a huge hero. I can't, first of all, people that serve, even though I'm always anti-war and I'm pretty much anti-military, it's the people that serve, that put something higher than themselves, that I mass respect. And the fact that you do that and then you get treated how you're being treated for speaking out is even more infuriating. See, like when they come after me, I'm like, yeah, I haven't served. I haven't done anything. You know, I'm just sort of like a loud voice in the background. I get it. But people like you who've put your life on the line, and this is how you get treated and disrespected. That's infuriating to me. Just infuriating.
I hope it shows to the American people that the bounds of narcissistic power know no boundaries.
Yeah.
Yep. And you were the one on Tucker, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tucker,
that's all.
yeah.
So I do know. I didn't see that whole episode, but I saw the clips online. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Great to be on the same panel with you.
You should definitely go watch some of the
I will.
interviews that Anthony did, because even if you go back and watch when we first had him on here, where he really gets into what was going on over there in Gaza. Okay. Because you can't believe what they're telling you. You can't believe a word that, if you know Israel's lying when their lips are moving, you can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth.
If I could interject, what do you think about the peace plan? And I think there's some news about the troops going over there.
Well, I don't even
He's
think
not asking you.
It's okay. Throwing it out there for the panel, but I do want to hear what Tony has to say.
So I think that right now, more so than ever, we must all remain vigilant and aware and knowledgeable, because I speak with people in Gaza nightly, daily. I people there that I have come to love and respect and cherish like family members, because I've when you see a man who's carrying his dead child that starved to death, and you hold his hand and you cry together, seeing that a man has lost his child to starvation, you create bonds and friendships. And as this ceasefire was going down or being discussed, Israel was still dropping JDAMs, Joint Deployed Aerial Munition, GBU-52, guided bombs, the 2,000-pounders, on Gaza City, killing 40, killing 50, killing 60, pulling bodies out of rubble tonight. As this ceasefire went into effect, it only went into effect approved by the Knesset about an hour ago. So as this was going on, I hope that what the world will also see from this is that Israel is not a good actor. They have no intent to stop the genocide. Right now, I think they're willing to step back from the bombing because the implementation of the famine and the uncontrollable disease, polio, hepatitis A, dysentery, and enterovirus, has now taken root to the point it will kill off the rest. And they know that. So I when I hear Smotrich or Ben Gvir or Milikowski speak, it enrages me as an American to know that we stand with that. Anyone that says I stand for Israel, like when I was in Congress the other day, every representative or senator I saw with the "We Stand with Israel" sign, I took a picture of it. They will not run. They will not hide from their, that's not going to age well. So it enrages me. And the peace plan, what really concerns me more so about the ceasefire itself is the implementation of the pulling back of Israeli defense forces within Gaza. Gaza's not that big. Pull back. No, you should leave. You should get out. Like there shouldn't be a pulling back. It's like if someone's like, I'm not touching you, and your dad says stop it, and you're like, okay, I'm not touching you now. It's like, no, get out. Like out. Get out. The fact that the United States is not willing to demand that shows that we are still under their control.
Yeah.
And this ceasefire is going to go down as like the modern day Balfour Accords, like, because we're just rewriting history except worse.
Couldn't agree more. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on this evening. Obviously, as you know, we could do this again and probably should, and we'll end up speaking for 2 hours, but that's another conversation for another night. Osiris, it's always a pleasure. Anthony, again, words can't say enough. You're doing
Osiris,
more than-
it's great to meet you.
Yep.
Check out Index Red, guys. And Anthony, I know you're not on social media, but you are appearing everywhere. So I so appreciate you. And I'm so glad that we've been able to ever connect with you.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Y'all are like
Congrats on 5
now.
years.
Thank you,
congrats.
guys.
And keep up the good fight.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, brother. See you guys. Yeah, it's a trying time. And of course, we've come a long way in the past 5 years. And two people, I think it's only appropriate, Jen, that we conclude with this panel, because
Yes.
the one thing that we have been trying to emphasize in a great way as often as we can is that so much of the voices that have grown substantially over the past 2 years, and especially since what happened with Charlie Kirk, is there has been another round of growth for people that are against, we assume that they're against what Israel is doing right now, but they have been successfully able to frame this as a Jewish problem, when in reality, this is a Zionist, elitist problem. And our last two panelists are people who are Jewish and are firmly against this genocide and have been tremendously helpful in helping us, in particular, get that message out.
Which is not why we're having them. We did want to end with Tribe, but these are both people that were also very good to us in the very beginning when I was running. Actually, Jordan was my very first ever interview as a candidate, and I had contemplated putting that clip up, but it's just it's cringy for me.
It's all good.
It's so cringy. And also, I'm very thankful because Jordan is usually early bird, so he was willing to be here at this late hour. So we'll bring in Jordan. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Status Coup, you definitely ought to be.
I would imagine that they will all become subscribed soon enough. Welcome for the first time to Revolutionary Change.
Hey,
and
Jordan.
That flag behind you, yes, and now it is actually...
Now it's upside down.
United Corporations of America is now appropriately being listed. But you're not alone.
No.
The other person that we're bringing in is somebody you know pretty well, and somebody that, of all the people that was on this mission well before October 7th with Jen in what was a specific topic of discussion that was also a lengthy live stream, was called Deconstructing Zionism. And if anybody knows a thing or two about how to use their platform to push the anti-Zionist agenda
Yes.
instead of the anti-Jewish agenda, it is Katie Halper. Welcome for the first time to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. So we definitely wanted to end tonight with you guys. And I know that this is late. I know everybody would want it to be earlier, but we are going to be making our special announcement in a little while. So I'm excited to have you guys here for it. But it has been exceptionally hard over the past couple of years being Jewish, and being on the right side of history. And I imagine even for you, Jordan, I mean, I know that you're married into an Israeli family, and that cannot be easy for you right now to be sort of like walking that line. So would you talk a little bit about that, like how that's been for you as a Jewish person? And I also know your dad is a Zio, and that you come from that, like not my dad, but my family is definitely Zionist. But what's that like for you navigating this right now?
Honestly, dealing with my wife and her family is a breath of fresh air compared to my immediate family.
Oh.
My father might as well be Moses.
Oh my God.
He's one of those God gave us the land kind of dudes. And he was in a radical camp. You probably have covered them, and group known as Beitar growing up. So before October 7th, I just never really, I had fault with him too much about Israel. So it just became one of those things we just stopped talking about because what was the point? I'm not going to change his mind. But obviously, there was no ignoring it after October 7th. So we've had a few blow-ups. My mom also, she's less like religious. My dad's like religious. He goes to temple twice a week. My mom is more just like these, boomer liberal Jews who think, Israel could do no wrong. And, you take one of mine, I'm going to take two of yours kind of mentality. My dad and I had it out probably, 2 years ago, because he gave me some spiel about, this is our land. God gave it to us. And I said, paraphrasing, aren't you a little old for fairy tales? And it almost got violent. But yeah, I mean, listen, compared to what people are dealing with in Gaza, don't cry any tears for me. But yeah, it does create tension. They obviously support what I do and the stories I cover. Other than that, they do not like that. We've probably covered more of the actually, we have definitely covered more of the pro-Palestine protests around the country than any other outlet. And I always get, well, why don't you cover any of the, bring the hostage back? I'm like, because it's like three old ladies out on a Saturday morning. That's why. And in terms of the scale of suffering, one's a lot worse. So, yeah, it's created tension, but, it is what it is. Even with family, I'm not the only one who's had friction and tension with their family.
Yeah. Katie, what about you? I mean, I don't think you were raised Zio or not by your parents.
I would say I was more non-Zionist than anti-Zionist, but now I'm obviously anti-Zionist, and my parents and I see eye to eye. Not my extended family, although I do have a relative who I tell this story a lot. He emailed me and he was like, I guess you were right. And then he wrote in parentheses, or hard left or extreme left on Israel. And the thing that woke him up on this, interestingly enough, was no other land, because I think the fact that these things were being done to Palestinians before October 7th kind of allows you to bypass the but Hamas, but October 7th propaganda that short circuits a lot of people's minds. So, but I mean, I totally agree with what Jordan said. Like, yeah, there's tension that Jews are navigating, but it's really, I mean, that is like so walk in the park compared to Palestinians in the diaspora who have their, humanity like diminished every day. And of course, Palestinians in Gaza or in the rest of, of Palestine. But sure, there is an interesting thing happening right now. I guess for me, the most interesting thing about the Jewish issue is that it's just ironic because I don't talk about this issue as a question of like self-preservation, but it is now a question of self-preservation. And I don't want to be hyperbolic, and I certainly don't want to pretend that there's an anti-Semitism crisis. And I want to be very clear that 90% of the time that people talk about anti-Semitism, they're just talking about anti-Zionism and pretending it's anti-Semitism, or not even anti-Zionism, criticism of Israel. But the irony is when Jews tell me, or Jews like you, I'm sure you get this, that we're self-loathing, that we're anti-Semitic, that we're creating anti-Semitism, we're contributing to anti-Semitism. It's like, no, the Jews who are speaking out are the only ones who are challenging anti-Semitism. Like, newsflash, I would like you to be on the right side of this issue because it's the moral thing to do, and it's pretty clear. But I'm not kind of above trying to appeal to people if they're not going to move in any other ways. Like, this isn't good for the Jews. Like, they're live streaming a genocide. They're saying it's in the name of Jews. If you care about Jewish safety, as you claim, you have to wake up and realize that Israel is not making you safe. It's putting you at risk. And the thing that you want to do if you want to battle anti-Semitism is speak out against Israel, not co-sign it. I mean, again, that's not the most important moral framework at all. It's not a particularly, actually, it's not a moral one at all. It's not immoral per se, but it's amoral, as in moral, one word. But I do think it's just ironic. And I think that people probably need to be woken up to that. And I don't know. But yeah, in terms of what people are going through, I do think that sometimes we lose sight of how hard it is for, Palestinians here, because again, every day, and obviously the genocide is happening there, right? But I do think that something that a lot of people are unaware of is what it must feel like to see the things that you see when you're a Palestinian American or Palestinian, whatever, French, anywhere, not living in Palestine, and just knowing that so many of the elites and the powerful, not the masses, but the people with power, are fine, laughing at you, joking about you, like we saw with Van Jones. Just like building your dehumanization into their analysis in such a casual way.
Well, the only thing I think that is positive, but wait, Peter, is that it is shifting. Because 3 years ago, nobody was we were talking about this, but most people were not talking about this. And I do think that Palestinians in the diaspora especially are seeing global support at a level that they've never felt before.
Yeah, it's definitely from the people it is, and from the governments and the media it's not, but yeah.
For such a cynical guy as he tends to come off, all of us have had the privilege of speaking with Norman Finkelstein, and he's got quite a sense of humor, I have to say, in spite of everything. He definitely knows how to put people in their place. Jordan, I think a good way to talk about what's going on in Chicago is I think so much of what we're seeing over in Gaza is an example of how we said that this is eventually going to come home. The incessant violence was eventually going to find its way to the States, because now what we're seeing is a country that is getting restless, and especially a significant portion of MAGA that is getting restless with the president. So naturally, it looks like we're heading into some form of a police state. We saw these cop cities that popped up over the last several years. Jen went to one of them in northern Georgia. And so now
I went to the one in Atlanta. What are you talking about?
Oh, that is northern Georgia. So
no, it's not. Go.
Yes, it is. Anyway, point being is that now we are seeing the weaponry shown on our own people, and it's only going to get worse. And if you could share a little bit about what you've seen and what we can expect to see more of going forward, that would be very helpful for many who may not even be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, my bad. I should have actually sent this clip to you for tonight, but I interviewed the other day a photographer who was just taking pictures outside of the Broadview Detention Center. That's the main one right outside of Chicago, where, it looks like Fallujah. They're tear gassing, stun grenades, pepper sprays, have snipers on the roof shooting at people. If you saw the other day, they shot a pastor in the head. And my cameraman was tear gassed pretty bad. My new reporter was tear gassed. So there was footage. This was kind of on a calm day, just a photographer taking photos of the ICE agents, the Border Patrol. And it was like Call of Duty style. They just opened fire on him, like 4 or 5 agents shooting pepper balls. And I think the media, people become numb. They just hear like rubber bullets and pepper balls and don't realize like you could get really fucking injured from these things. Actually, you could die from rubber bullets if you get shot in a certain way. When I was at Standing Rock, a guy got shot with a rubber bullet in his head. His scalp nearly came off. I bring this up because I interviewed the photographer who got shot up with the pepper bullets, and he's Palestinian, which I didn't know. And he told me that he was over in the West Bank, I believe, a little after October 7th. And what he saw from the IDF is exactly how ICE is acting here. And that connection really struck me because these ICE, I don't know what you would call them other than thugs, that the cruelty is the point. You know, they're even detaining children on the side of the road. I saw a video of that the other day. You know, elderly people, they're taking kids and zip tying them. This is what the IDF has done. I mean, long before October 7th, frankly. But obviously people have seen it worse since. So I think you're seeing, and speaking of Cop City, that militarized police compound that got so little attention, and Jen was there and we covered it on the ground. They were going to be trained or partnering in training with the IDF.
Mm-hmm.
We know the NYPD has done training with a lot of police departments in America have done training with the IDF. And don't even get me started on Palantir and the surveillance state and the IDF. So I think what you're seeing here, I don't want people to get, you know, I think people get a false sense sometimes that this brutality is new. It's a lot worse, to be clear. I don't want to give a false equivalence. What Trump is doing is a lot worse than we've seen. But there was this violence and kind of state thuggery before Trump. We saw it at Standing Rock. We've seen it at Black Lives Matter protests. Now it's just on a different level. But how he basically said, this is exactly what I see ICE doing is exactly what I saw the IDF doing. It should scare the living shit out of Americans.
Yeah. Well, Katie, you know this. Like, you know that Palestine's the laboratory, right? Like everything that goes on there comes here.
Yeah, I mean, the what is it? The chickens coming home to roost, the imperial boomerang theory. I think we're seeing a lot of that. And I actually really appreciate something you just said, Jordan, because I think that we see two tendencies often, which is that there's a lot of, I hate to be a nuanced cuck, but sometimes people make it seem like Trump is a total departure and aberration, and we've never had anything like this. And then I would say like most people say that, right? And then we have some people who are, I agree with in many ways, who are my fellow leftists, who say that Trump is really not unique at all. He's just more of the same, and there's stylistic changes. But there is not just a qualitative, but a quantitative difference in many cases. Although it's interesting because with the immigration issue, it actually is more qualitative than quantitative. Because if you look at the numbers of deportations, it's not actually as high as Trump would like you. And again, it's too high. But in terms of how much more he's doing it than Biden, the numbers don't really bear that out. But what they do bear out is the spectacle of cruelty, which we're seeing, which is, I mean, I'm not dismissing the importance of that. It is traumatic. It has a real chilling effect. It makes people feel afraid. And it's torture and violence for the people experiencing it. I am hoping that people will realize that, you know, this is not the reason that you don't have health care or you can't afford eggs is not because of people who are undocumented. I'm hoping that people can make that point. And it would be great if Democrats made that point more effectively instead of kind of just being like Republican light when it comes to immigration, because they're never going to satisfy the people who vote on the border alone. And all they're doing is kind of helping create more of this dystopian, sadistic environment. And they won't do well in it either. I mean, if they care about, we all know they don't usually care about morals, but they do kind of care about polls.
Well, what they really care about is how they look in front of the cameras, kind of like Hakeem Jeffries with Mike Lawler the other day, you know, because you look tough, because that's what matters. Right. You know, we've gone at great length to talk about how elections do matter. I'm not going to say that they don't. We are still reeling in so many respects from, I mean, again, we all got together because of 2015 and 2016 with Bernie. You know, it was the sort of odyssey of an experience. And anyone who says that the biggest reason why the working class shifted to Trump, it's because people that supported Bernie were not going to support a party that literally rigged a presidential primary against them that was based on a working class populist left uprising. and they were, I don't even know if they were necessarily hoodwinked into supporting Trump. I just think the level of desperation is unbelievable at this point. And so we actually do have a big announcement. And Jen, I think it would be appropriate if you shared it, because we have been trying to figure out how we can make an impact. What could we do to sort of shift where things need to go? Because the answer is not the Democratic Party. Yeah. And if anybody saw the blow up by Katie Porter the other day, it is a prime example of how, if you think you're getting any change through that party, you're nuts. So let's not be nutty. Let's not waste time. Let's figure out how to be effective. Jen, please, if you will.
Right. So we all know that our entire electoral process has been completely bought out. I mean, like, it's just bought out. And people that are grassroots can not compete in any real meaningful way against, and it's not just AIPAC, it's not just the Israel lobby, although that's right now what we're seemingly squaring off against, but it's all of it. And so I, for a long time, have been thinking, well, we just need to play their game. And so we are officially playing their game. So we are now announcing there is a Revolutionary Change PAC. We are a super PAC. I have a couple of ads to show, but we are up and running. And our mission is to fight against corporate interests and foreign interests that have completely taken over. So we can take unlimited money. We can have dark money. We can play just as dirty as they can. And so we have a two-prong approach. One, we are going to be spending our money going after all the filthy incumbents and corporate candidates and AIPAC-bought candidates that are running. And two, we are supporting our own slate of candidates that we have, that we've picked. And actually, they don't even know, because we're a super PAC, so we can't even talk to them. But we are nonpartisan. We will support people that are speaking for working people and fighting against the corporate interests. And so I want to I don't know which one of these is which. There's two ads that we have that I was just going to play.
And two, so if
which one? I don't know which one.
At 16 years old in Israel on a high school trip, holding an assault rifle. And this is the definition of indoctrination. As I grew older, I witnessed the rise of the Israeli lobby, exerting its influence on our politics and policies. I learned about the injustices happening thousands of miles away in the name of Jewish people. And I can't stay silent in the face of such injustice. I do not feel powerless. I feel hopeful. It is time for us to use our voices, to stand in solidarity with the oppressed, to demand accountability from our leaders. I pledge to fight for justice and equity for everyone, here at home and abroad, for there can be no peace without true justice.
Hi, I'm Jen Perlman with the Revolutionary Change PAC. We are done with AIPAC-funded candidates that put foreign interests ahead of the interests of working Americans. You can help us beat AIPAC at their own game. Please donate to Revolutionary Change now and help us fight fire with fire.
So that's one of the ads that's been circulating. And I don't know if either of you have seen them. They've been sort of circulating over the past couple of weeks, but we weren't going to officially announce it until today. And just as a point of reference, I mean, Peter, do you want to say who our first three candidates are that we're supporting?
Yeah. We have a second ad that we will play, but in terms of the candidates that we are planning on supporting in the upcoming elections in 2026, the first candidate is going to be Butch Ware, who is running for governor of California on the Green Party ticket. We obviously think very highly of him. He's been on the podcast. Obviously, now we cannot communicate with him further, but the efforts will be made to make sure that he has a fighting chance. And with the latest blow up by Katie Porter, we think there is definitely an opening here where he can cause some headway, and that would obviously be a good thing. The second candidate is Shama Sawant, who is running for Congress in Washington's, I believe it's the 9th district, if I remember off the top of my head. She is running against Adam Smith, Mr. Corporate whore himself, who's been in office probably longer than some of you people in the chat have been alive. I think he's been there for about 30 years. And then the last candidate we are going to be supporting as of right now is going to be Senate candidate Graham Plattner in Maine. And the reason we're supporting him, even though he's running in the Democratic Party, is that he is a very solid candidate, and he is running in a primary against a Democratic Party picked AIPAC candidate who also happens to be somebody who made a shitload of money grifting through these fundraising DC groups that basically was, you've heard about them. They're basically all Red Cross wannabes where they raise the money and only about 5% of it actually gets spent on the candidates. The other 95% gets spent on the operation. So those are the three candidates that as of now we will be supporting. I think that we have to try to make an impact outside of the two-party system. I think this is one way to do it. And we have one more ad to play.
You have it?
According to AIPAC, it donated money to 365 candidates from both parties, including every single member of both Democratic and Republican leadership in Congress.
For the past 2 years, we've been watching a live stream genocide in Palestine. People in this country are waking up to realize that our leadership has been compromised by the Zionist agenda. You can help us take back this country for ourselves and a free Palestine. Donate to Revolutionary Change now.
And just so people know, the only two people in charge of the money for this PAC are me and Peter. That's it. It's just us. There's nobody else that gets to decide where money is spent. No WCCC white collar campaign carnies coming in and taking a payroll out of the PAC. This is totally about fighting against those forces, fighting against AIPAC, and standing up for candidates that are on the right side of history.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about where your money's going with us. That much we can assure you.
Exactly.
You mean Cenk Uygur won't be involved?
No, there's no wolf pack here. This is just
it's just us. It's just us, and we are in charge of it, and nobody else gets to say where money goes or where it's spent or anything like that. And we are very committed to allocating the money where it needs to go. So
I think, I think it's, I didn't know about this. I'm learning it with the audience, but I think now is as good a time as ever. I don't know if you saw polls that have come out. I mean, just in 3 years, I think it was plus 48 or something like that, pro-Israel in this country. And now it's moved to, I think I saw positive 1 or 2. I mean, that's a gigantic shift. As you guys, I'm sure, have covered, I mean, 40, 50% of the protesters on the streets are Jewish. And I think even like the old boomer liberal, wine moms, I mean, some of them will always be what they are, but even some of them, have said, right, have seen enough. So I think now is a great time to try and, I mean, go on the attack. I'm sure AIPAC, if you get any traction, will hit you back tenfold. But I think you guys could take it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to need to come on your show at some point and talk about what happened to us the other day. So
yeah.
Yes.
We've just, Katie, I don't know if Jen texted you this. I know I haven't mentioned it yet, but we had the police come and visit us the other day because we decided to go after Central Synagogue on 55th in Lexington because apparently the rabbi was toying with very coded language about human sacrifice in the name of Israel. And because the segment blew up, it's gotten over, I think it's probably somewhere close to like 250,000 views at this point. They decided to call the cops on us. And the only reason I found out about it is because the cops that came to see me was at 11:30 at night. It was the sheriff's office that did it. And I spoke to them.
What city are you in?
I'm by Destin. I'm in the Florida Panhandle.
He's in Niceville.
Oh, you're talking about a synagogue in Florida. Okay, I thought, yeah.
No, the synagogue is in New York.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
So basically, some wealthy people at this synagogue called their pals at the Florida sheriff.
Well, the plantation police showed up at my house, and then and I didn't talk to them because I know better. Then a few hours later, the sheriff up in wherever Peter lives showed up at his house, and they asked if we had a hit list. And because we have a hit list, but the hit is a bong hit. So in fact, this is it. Okay. So which to me is pretty clear that what that is. But so they wanted to make sure that we weren't planning a trip to New York to hurt people.
And so the two cops who I ended up having a fairly cordial conversation with, by the time it was over, he basically said, "Ah, fuck it. These are the people that called the cops on you." I was like, "Oh, really?
Wow.
So you're telling me that the people at the synagogue didn't like our video and they felt that the way to get to us is to intimidate us?"
Yep.
Okay, well, this is why we have to do this.
So this is one more reason why, it just makes us more resolved. Like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't scare us. It doesn't intimidate us, and it's not going to stop us. And so I was just wanting you guys to be here to let you know about this PAC, that this is what we're doing. We are nonpartisan. So one of our candidates is a Democrat, one is a Green, and one is an independent. But we are open to supporting people that are on the right side of history. So that's where we are. And Colin, do you have the code? I think, yeah. So guys, this is it? Yeah, right there. This is the code for anybody to go check out Revolutionary Change PAC. We are up and running. We do take ActBlue, which, yes, I know is a scam, but we also take Anadot, I think is the name that is going to be added. So for people that are averse to ActBlue, and we also, if you go to our website, we also can take checks, and we have no limitations on what we can take. So we are a super PAC. That's where we are.
But not corrupt. We swear.
Yeah, no.
It's actually
No.
a good bumper sticker. We're a super PAC, but not corrupt.
But not corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of meeting them where they are. This is how they want to. I'd rather have publicly financed elections and not have any money at all. That would be my pick. This is how they want to do it. And apparently that's the only way that this can work. So this is something that I started thinking about a few years ago. We did get a PAC up and running, but then it got taken over. I don't even want to talk about that. That went in a whole wrong direction and ended up screwing our campaign and a whole different thing. But this is us. It's 100% us. And yeah, so we're very pleased about this.
I want to take an opportunity to thank both of you for the work that you do. On the domestic side, you have been, Jordan, doing the type of journalism that we so desperately wish more people in this country would do. As a personal friend, I know the trials and tribulations that you go through to run this operation. It is a lot of sleepless nights, and being the father of two young children, I can only imagine. It's very trying, but we cannot thank you enough, and for bringing attention to what is going on, not just in Chicago, but everywhere. It is essential, if you guys are not supporting Status Coup News, that you do. Katie, for somebody with the platform that you have and the fact that you have been as outspoken for years, as long as I've known you, about the separation of Judaism from Zionism and how you've used that platform over the last 2 years in particular to highlight some of the most amazing voices, including ones that we have had the privilege of having as a result of your connection with them, is also something that we cannot thank you enough for, as well as the deconstructing Zionism that we did way back when, along with the Assange-a-thon. So the fact that you are, I will borrow a popular Yiddish word. It's my favorite Yiddish word. It's you are two mensches that are doing right by humanity, and the sea of darkness right now that we're living through. Thank you for being bright lights, because we don't have many. And hopefully we can continue to cross-collaborate together and build our network as best we can, because as we know, elections do matter, but they're not the way we're getting out of this. We all know that now. It's going to be a populist uprising, period.
I just want to say one thing, since everyone's plugging stuff. I am working on a documentary about Holocaust survivors who are speaking out against the genocide in Gaza. So stay tuned for that. And they're really inspiring people.
Do you have an ETA?
Let's see, what is the ETA? Within a year, definitely.
Excellent. And you'll come back and talk about it, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you guys for staying up late with us, especially Jordan. I know you've got the littles.
Well, wait, hold on. What about me? Hold on.
Okay, all right. Let's see the furry little.
That counts.
It
Okay.
counts. It
Yeah.
counts. But the furry little.
You're not human. That's not.
Oh my God, that dog is so freaking cute.
This is Bucky. I don't know. I don't think.
nice.
Bucky.
Is Bucky named for Bucky's, which is now like my favorite place?
No, he's named for Bucky Pizzarelli because I want to name him after like a grandfather. But both of my grandfather's names were Al, and it is kind of adorable. He kind of would be a really cute Al, but I liked having a vowel at the end of his name, and so my grandparents really loved Bucky Pizzarelli.
Oh my God, the underbite on him.
Come on, let me show you off.
Oh, what kind of dog is this?
He's
squirmy.
I know he's not usually that squirmy. I'm gonna get him. Like child services are gonna come in. Here,
is he a Havanese?
No, he is a he's half Shih Tzu, half we think half Shih Tzu, half Brussels Griffin. So we're gonna get but we got a DNA test. So we'll in fact I should announce it on. I'm gonna have a big Katie Halper show announcement. Yeah.
Okay. No, he's adorable. How old is he?
Between 5 and 8. He's a rescue, and look at his bow tie.
No, he's adorable.
Yes,
he's absolutely adorable. He looks like trouble, though. He looks a little mischievous.
He's really.
I'll bring my dog from Russia on the next stream.
Oh, nice.
Your dog from? You have a Russian? What kind of dog do you have?
Yeah, at the beginning of COVID, adoption here was shut down, so we got a dog from Russia. They shuttled like 30 of them over. Might have a chip in her. I don't know.
They're coming for you.
What kind?
They're coming for you.
What kind?
I don't know. They
like big, small.
Like 30 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. He's like 14 pounds.
Yeah, that's where mine are.
I'm getting him a Sophia handkerchief.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah.
Well, I've always said that the biggest knock on Trump to display just how much I don't like him.
Yeah.
Trump is the first president in our nation's history that didn't have a dog.
Oh, you're right. Wow.
That's a very bad sign.
It is a bad sign.
Yeah,
that's a bad sign. When you have a staff that could take care, like to not, I don't understand. Because the only downside of a dog is really the work. But if you have a staff,
excuse me, the only reason we don't have a dog is because it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. The center of attention must be me at all times. That's the way it goes. Let me tell you, there has to be so much shit on him in those files for him to go to this length now to not release it. I can't even imagine what this guy's into. Maybe the P tapes were real. I mean, at this point, what the hell else could you think?
Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Thank you guys so much for being here and on our 5th-versary. I really appreciate you both very much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
So that was a great conversation. That was a great evening, but we can't leave just yet. And you guys see the QR code if you would be so inclined to chip in. But we have had quite an evening of Super Chats. We've got a lot to get to before we get out of here. So April 55, thank you so much for the $9.99. Congrats, XOXO. Appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you, April.
Hollaback, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We really appreciate
Hollaback,
it.
girl.
But Hollaback didn't want to stop there. Hollaback with a 1999 super sticker.
And again with the snout. Love the
it's
snout.
all about the poochie poos.
It's all about the pooch. Yeah.
Everybody knows that's our show is about the dogs. It's got to be. Lynn Ann, thank you so much for the $10 and for having an awesome profile picture. That's, I mean, like I said, it is about the dogs.
It is about the dogs.
Piano Man with the $10. Thank you very, very much for being an amazing supporter and for super chatting again this evening. Chris Garrett, originally from Status Quo over to Revolutionary Change. 21 months. Happy 5-year anniversary. Nice to see this growth. We appreciate you being here, my friend. Chris Back, becoming a YouTube member. Thank you very, very much. Piano Man again with the $10 super sticker. We appreciate you. And of course, not to be outdone, Teresa, thank you so much for gifting 5 Revolutionary Change memberships.
Teresa's one of our OGs.
She is.
And Chris, like a lot of these people, like we could definitely have people that have been around for the duration.
Yeah, no, we're doing good here. That is for sure. JG with the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When all else fails, they take you to war. Want to go to war? We take you to war. Gerald Calente. JG also gifting 5 Revolutionary Change memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cannonball. Thank you very much for the 1999. You do look familiar. I have a feeling we know who this gentleman is.
Really?
It almost looks like. I think it might be Guy Giverson. At least it looks like him. I could be wrong. But if you are, thank you very much. And if you're not, thank you anyway. You can always tell a person's quality by their friends, which makes you guys super top shelf humans. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much for your amazing support.
We do have good friends. We do have good friends. And honestly, I do take that as a compliment. That is a testament to our integrity and what we've been doing here for 5 years. That even when we had low numbers, we didn't have a huge audience, and we would still get guests like we had. And that's why. So, I mean, yeah, I am proud of that.
Mark J with the $3. Thank you for your courage and perseverance. Hey, thank you for always chipping in on pretty much every live stream. We really appreciate you. Alex Got Mittens, thank you for the $5. Watch Tommy G's new video with Lieutenant Colonel Aguilar. Bless you all. Appreciate you, brother. Really do. JG again with the $2. Posse Comitatus?
Posse Comitatus?
Posse Comitatus.
Posse Comitatus. It sounds Greek or Latin?
Maybe something like that. Talk about one of our OGs. Chip with the $10. Another
Thank you, Chip.
Congrats on the 5 years. Appreciate you being here. Tony D, thank you for the $2. Tell Katie I discovered this show because of her.
Oh, I would have, but I didn't, we can't, I hate interrupting for super, like we have to, it's hard to do super.
That's why I said at the beginning, we need to get some through, but I had no idea it would be blowing up like this. So we obviously are very appreciative. JG with the $10. Sunny FX question. Is the vote in the General Assembly still going to take place to deploy a UN peace force to Gaza via 2/3 majority ruling in the General Assembly?
One could hope. I mean, at this point, there are means for the General Assembly to override our veto. I mean, we know that is possible. Now, whether or not all the things fall into place for that to happen, I don't know. But I have heard, at least I heard the president of Indonesia at one point standing up and saying, we have troops ready to go when the UN is ready to act. So, and I don't think they're alone. I don't think they're alone. So it's a matter of how many countries are going to have that courage. Correct.
Tony D with the $5. Your birthday show same day as John and Sean Lennon's birthday.
Okay.
Paul McCartney's third wedding. Thomas UK TV debut in 1984. Love multi-hour streams. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Tony D, being the music channel person that you are, because that is some seriously good Beatles trivia for me.
And one of the Beatles' best albums is featured in your profile picture. And of course,
that's my favorite. I'm an Abbey Road girl.
Well, my favorite song is probably Come Together. So I can definitely appreciate the greatness that is Abbey Road and their second to last album. So yes, they did go out with a bang for sure.
Did you know that actually that was the last album they recorded was Abbey Road?
Yes.
But it wasn't released.
The last one released. That's correct.
The last one released was Let It Be. But Abbey Road was actually recorded last.
Words of wisdom, let it be. And not to be outdone, as if she doesn't do enough for us, the biggest super chat of the evening, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you all do. I will always do everything I can to help support all you do. And we will always show our gratitude for you being one of our best. Thank you very, very much. JG 1982 does not want to be outdone. He's probably competing with you, Teresa, gifting another 5 Revolutionary Change memberships. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, one of our absolute favorites, Ozma and Siri. Finally, let's see if this works. It did work at $9.99.
It did.
Happy 5, you guys. Here's to
Thank
many
you,
more.
Ozma.
We love you as well. Absolutely. Flowers from the UK. Thank you for the £5. Thank you for staying up late with us. This is very late.
Yeah,
where
let
you
me
are.
tell you something. You UK and Irish people over there, you guys are like night owls. I'm always fascinated with the amount of people on our live.
You know what? Do you necessarily blame them, especially at certain times of the year where it's just dreary outside 24/7?
Okay, first of all, it's beautiful there. Second of all, it stays light really late, depending on where you are. Like when I was in Scotland, it didn't get dark until like 10.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. JG with the $4 super sticker. Interesting number choice. And then Aaliyah follows up with a $3.99 Canadian A super sticker. Thank you very, very much. Arm with Harmony. Donnie had a pup. It's self-deployed. That is not funny. That's totally not funny.
I think it's pretty funny.
Thank you for the $2, Arm with. Really appreciate it. Ronwell again with the $5. While I was inspired by Ron Paul, I'm loyal to Jesse the Body Ventura and Cynthia McKinney. But since he isn't doing it anymore, I have Thomas Massey because of it. Thomas Massey is the best federally elected representative we have right now, Mike.
Yes.
MTG Paradise with the $10. Happy 5 years. Thank
you
very much. And again, for the last time, because he just doesn't want to stop.
He just wants to keep us going.
Wants to make sure we can't. You know, one of the great things I used to have in my movies, you know what it was? Don't give up your day job. So he wants to make sure that we could give up our day job because he's giving us so many super chats and so many new members.
Oh, Anthony. Anthony.
Ride or die, but only until 9 p.m.
You are so quickly becoming one of my most favorite people, and has nothing to do with donating.
Well, you have to understand, he is chipping in to your travel account to make sure that you get to DC sometime in the near future.
And Anthony is also one of our patrons, but it's like, there is something that makes me so proud when people who I think so highly of like me back. Like it's
really
very satisfying. They really like me. No, I mean, people that are real heroes. Like like I never knew a Green Beret before. God, she's definitely decomposing by the minute.
I would agree. Tamils for Peace. Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker.
Tamils for Peace. So I did a DNA ancestry test a couple years ago on my mom's side, and 4 generations back is Tamil Indian, which is so strange to me because I really thought like it was going to come back 100% Ashkenazi, boring as fuck. And then there was Tamil Indian and also Han Chinese, which does explain my child number 1 does kind of look Asian.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would definitely say that we're all mixed with a lot of different. A lot of us are mutts. I mean, German Irish on my father's side, Russian Polish on my mother's side, but I am very appreciative of my Irish roots and what the culture represents.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on my Irish conversion. I'm working on my Irish conversion.
Last thing I'll say this evening is we do have a live that I will be doing as a pontification on Saturday. We are going to be doing a deep dive on Charlie Kirk in particular about a person that I have been wanting to do a deep dive on ever since this happened, and that is the guy by the name of Andrew Colvett. Very interesting stuff, considering...
He is the LBJ in this Charlie Kirk scenario, which is very interesting. Shall we?
Candace Owens has receipts. And there was a conversation between Nick Fuentes and Dave Smith that I have not yet checked out. But there may also be a undressing, if you will, of a popular streamer that I have hesitated even addressing because we've collaborated with him before. We do not really communicate any further. We could certainly understand why, because he's been a little too friendly about Israel. And now we may have to do a takedown.
This is also a compliment to me. We're all Palestinian.
We are.
We're all Palestinian. Those are the original people. They're Like, I don't know how people don't understand this. We all come from some woman in Ethiopia, and then we migrated away from that area, farther away from the equator, and a ton of people ended up in the cradle of civilization, and those are the Palestinians. And yes, we are all from there.
Which is why we have to fight the good fight, no matter what. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things that we ask you to do. 5 years, here's to another 5 more. We love you all. We'll see you Saturday.
Thanks, guys, for coming. Free Palestine.
Good night, guys.